Hi, everyone.
What's up?
It is Thompson Tuesday, and we're here with Thompson Talk, where we.
Take a look at how the whaling industry is severely affecting the ocean's ecosystem. Did you know that for every one dolphin captured in Japan, they kill like 12 others and they blame it on overfishing?
I didn't know that you were so concerned about dolphins. Here we are. We're only on episode 5, and this is the second time you brought them up.
Netflix is a
Interesting.
dangerous place. Went down a rabbit hole.
Today's episode is brought to you by the letter R for.
Religion.
Er,
Rice.
and Andrew thought that he would dress appropriate. Right now, I told him that I tried to convince him, but he looks like the devil, right?
I'm an
You did that on
advocate.
purpose?
Did not mean it like that. I'm not an advocate of the devil. I was saying I'm playing devil's advocate, which is the actual thing. If you don't know about it, Google is a solid search engine.
So, Andrew, as we were talking about this, of course, there's a lot of different things that we could talk about. But we know that religion overall, this is actually, religion is one of the topics aside from like politics. Politics is the other doozy woozy, where people get their
Yeah.
panties in such a wad that I usually tend to stay clear of religion and
It's-
politics as far as topics go. They're touchy.
yeah. Uh, More wars about religion than any other topic over time.
Mhm. And while this is a
So
touchy subject, right, where we don't want to offend or cross anybody's beliefs
we're
or
not
values.
talking about this to make fun of religion. We're talking about our experiences with religion and churches and stuff like that to have fun. So
Yes.
maybe some of you guys can relate to experiences that we've had because I know people that go to church every Sunday and they have like funny experiences, like people falling
The
asleep or
thing
different
is,
stuff like that.
did you know, Andrew, I think that you probably do. I probably told you at one time, this is one of those fun facts.
Hmm.
um, People who go to organized religion, like go to church every Sunday, actually have longer lives. Their longevity
They're
is
also a lot meaner
significantly more.
to food service workers when church lets out.
I think that what it is
I'm looking
that
at you.
it's that community, the sense of community, and also I know religion, and it's such a hot button. It's such a hot topic for a lot of people, and they feel passionate about it. But I really do understand at least the people wanting to have some kind of comfort in knowing what happens after, right? Like
Yeah, a lot of
after you
people are
die,
afraid of
you know,
death, and
yeah,
so
it
for
gives
sure,
them a sense of comfort.
for sure.
Yeah. I was
Same way
never
with
raised
military.
here. Yeah.
Joining the military gives you, while I was a young private and still in TRADOC, going through and being with all my battle buddies and stuff like that, and overcoming obstacles, and yeah, like almost everybody, whether they join as a reservist or a National Guardist or a 92
Mhm.
golf, like a cook, almost everybody while they're in BCT is like, I want to go active duty and be infantry so I can fight for my country. And then you go back into the real world and you're like, yo, fuck that. But at the same when you're in it, it's like, yeah, it gives you something to believe
That's
in,
what you,
gives you something to
yeah,
fight for. Yeah.
yeah. When I was younger, I was raised Lutheran, or I know that my parents were Lutheran, but we moved out in the country, and it wasn't that far. It was maybe a couple of miles, but it was one of those justifications that we lived too far out to go to church every Sunday. But I do remember up until the time I was 4, I went. The highlight, I remember making a pair of moccasins in Sunday school. That was like my highlight of religion
That's some
growing
white
up.
people shit for sure.
So I also am a very analytical person. So it was like the more that I went to school, when I went to college and I learned about all of these different religions and how all of them tend to think that they're the right one, it almost discounts and discredits all of them, right? Like if they're all saying, no, ours is the one, no, ours is the one, no, ours is the one. And it's just like, well, it's just a belief. It's a belief that has been passed down and that you continue to believe and that gives you comfort. So yeah, I don't.
And then on
Yeah,
the flip side of that, for me growing up, it was hard for me to buy into religion because, for those that don't know, you are a lesbian. Let's be honest. And
yes, yeah.
I didn't
And
want to
what
buy in.
kind of
I didn't want
God?
to buy into something that was like your mom's gonna go to hell because of who she chooses to love. Fuck that.
Yeah,
No, she's
yeah.
not.
So there are a lot of
She's not gonna go to
religions
hell
that are condemning.
for loving women. It's gonna be for something else. But
Oh, thanks.
me
Well,
and
now that we've clarified that I'm going to hell,
yeah.
maybe another episode will say why.
God,
Yeah.
we're off to a great
So
start.
Andrew didn't have. I didn't really necessarily connect with any of the religions other than like Buddhism, right? Or the do unto others how you want them to do to you. Be kind, be fair. Those kind of things resonate with me more so than any, like one of the bigger mainstream religions. But I didn't go to church when I was younger. So Andrew didn't go to church. But I thought when Andrew was getting older, I was like, I'm going to let him, check out maybe like the Unitarian Church, which the Unitarians, they teach about the history of religion, right? They teach about all the religions and they give the people the opportunity or the freedom
The
to decide
tools they
which
need, which
resonate.
direction they want to
Okay.
go. Yeah.
Yeah. So I took him to this Unitarian church, and right before or right after the service started, all of the younger kids, the youth,
To clarify,
stood
this
up.
was our first time at the church, which is why I wasn't already in the kids' class. Because when we went back, when the sermon started, I did go to the kids' class. But this was first time I said, "Hey, I don't want to fucking leave you and go with these people. Can I stay next to you?" And
I was
we
like,
actually
sure.
went. Yeah, we went with you and your girlfriend at the time, Sarah.
Hmm. So
And
it was Sarah was sitting on my left side, and Andrew was sitting on my right. And the woman who was directly in front of me, this is after the kids left, Andrew said, can I stay? And I was like, sure. The woman right in front of me starts breastfeeding. And I saw Andrew stiffen up, like he got really, probably in more ways than one. No, I think more so than anything, you were just petrified, horrified, because you could see boob, right? You could see
my
this woman
titty
breastfeeding.
radar went all the way off, and I didn't know how to act
Yes.
at that
So
age.
super uncomfortable. Must have been, what are you 12, 13, 14?
Younger than that, like 11, 10, 11.
So Andrew's like super, high alert.
This is a
And
grown
then
woman titty.
the preacher, the reverend, I don't know what Unitarians, the person at the pulpit said, today we're going to talk about the
No
teaching
shit.
of Martin Buber. And I had the little form, the little paper form, and I
The
had the little
pamphlet.
pencil, the pencils that they give you, a lot and I underlined the BUB, and I'm tapping it, underlining it. And Andrew and I, oh my God, we were shaking because we were dying inside. That was the funniest thing, that this woman, Andrew sees a boob, and then he sees the boob, and we're talking about Boober. We almost had to leave.
But I
We
knew for
almost
a
had.
fact as soon as we got up and got out of the doors that we would have let it go and they would have heard us for sure.
Oh my
And
gosh!
Sarah
And
was
Sarah was
petrified.
just
She was so
this.
mad. She was disgusted.
because she had teenage yeah, she had two teenage boys sitting next to her that couldn't handle talking
Oh
about Martin
God.
Luther with a breastfeeding woman in front of us. Oh
I
my
mean,
god.
just like, what are the odds, really?
Yeah,
That was a
we can't
sign.
believe it.
It was divine intervention. Like, you shouldn't be here.
So this
Yeah.
the other time that Andrew and I were in church where we started laughing, and it's not appropriate to laugh in church anyways, like I said, unless it's a collective laugh and somebody, at the pulpit says something that's funny and everybody haha. We were at a friend's funeral. And Andrew and I were it was during the Lord's Prayer, right?
Yeah.
And Andrew didn't know the words. And so he was saying, I don't even know.
And so there'd be like, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come. I was going, and my mom started laughing. You started laughing.
I started laughing. I was like,
She started cracking up.
and then he started laughing, right? We were trying to
Yeah, and
be
then I started.
contagious.
So
But then
again, I'm fucking.
people started turning
So people
back.
started looking, and she turns on her fucking Oscar award winning. She starts crying, and she's like, "It's not funny," and I'm like, "I fucking know, I know it's not." And she just starts crying and shaking her head and looking at me, saying, "It's not funny." And I was, I was like, "Fuck you." Yeah,
Oh, just wait to the fun that you're going to have with your kids one day, Andrew.
God.
The things that you get to blame them for.
I can't hold it in as well as I could back then. If
Absolutely.
my one of my kids does some fool shit in church, I'm letting it go right there.
Oh, that's so funny. So yeah, we've we have this thing now where it's like just church is not a safe place. It's not safe to laugh out loud, and we're big laughers, I think. That's. Andrew, you have more experiences since that time, like in your adult life
Yeah,
with
so like
religion or organized.
so then I guess in a chronological order, when I was in 8th grade, if you're in Louisville, you know where Myers Middle School is. There's Canaan Christian Church. That's literally over the fence, like they almost share a parking lot. You didn't trust me growing up to be at home by myself because I was bad as hell.
That's
So
true.
you always wanted to try to find somewhere for me to go after I got out of school before
Oh
you
yeah,
got
you
off
need to be
work.
supervised.
So you put me in the Sons of Issachar program, and it was a church group for kids, and we would just like go do homework.
For
And
boys.
yeah, it was all boys, and we would just cut up and stuff. And one afternoon, right before we got on the church van to get dropped off and go home, I was shadowboxing a kid named Blank, and I slipped and I hit him, like just gave him like a little jab, and that made him mad, like it would make anybody else mad. And so whatever, he's angry, he's coming at me, and I'm like bobbing and dancing and whatever. It dies down. We get on the church van to go home, and it's all boys, so we just get to talking, da 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 da. And out of nowhere, he says, "You're just a beep beep beep." And so I looked back and I said, "Say it again." And so he was like, "You're just a beep beep beep." And so I jumped over 2 seats to the very back of the van where he was sitting, and I hit him with the.
Imagine being a parent. This has been my life where I get a phone call. In fact, the school system in Louisville, the prefix is 852. And whenever I would get an 852 number, I would dread it.
I
Dread
stayed
it.
I stayed feeding kids Happy Meals, 2 piece and a biscuit, bing bing bow. And so yeah, I fed Blank, and he was messed up. I remember
Yeah,
his.
so I got called to talk to the facilitator of the Sons of Issachar program and the father of the boy who he beat up. And the father was like, I should file charges. And I was like, you should file charges. You should totally file charges.
And he was like,
And
"Oh
he
shit."
was, so yeah,
Yeah.
I did.
She was like, I don't know what to do. He needs to learn. I can't control him. You should file assault charges on him. And he said, "Peace be with you." And that was it. Like,
So the thing that Andrew's told me this many times in my life, like he knows the kind of person that I am, the kind of person who I am. If this is hypothetical, of course, Andrew hasn't murdered anyone, or has he? This is where you say, or have I? No. His
put it
side
down
of
in
the
the comment section.
he would contact his dad's side of the family, and they'd be like, "Oh boy, let's get a shovel, let's get her,"
Damn,
let's.
boy, why'd you do that? All right, come on down. And yeah, if I told my mom, she'd be like, "Hey, I made brownies. Come downstairs," and there would be an LMPD detective.
What I've
There
said
would
to
be the
him, I'm
SWAT
like,
team.
you are going to make mistakes in your life. Like that is a fact. I make mistakes. I'm not done making mistakes. But when you make a mistake, you are responsible for it. You hold yourself accountable. So turn yourself in. I'll visit you. I'll send you letters.
which
Oh,
which
you know,
is all fun and games, but I think you did a really good job because I've embodied that as I got
yeah,
older, and we'll talk about that in another episode. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, so pretty much just like anything that has to do with being holy, I've been the devil's advocate. Um, and then you know what though, I really started to get into religion when I was in BCT, basic combat training. Every Sunday, I would go to church, and when I got out of TRADOC, which is excuse me, training and doctrine
Hmm.
for the army, I would. I've always, if a missionary or a Jehovah's Witness comes up to me, I have a really hard time saying no to them because they're super nice. So I'll sit and talk to them for hours just about about anything, knowing that I'm not gonna go to your church and I'm not buying in, but I will sit and talk to you forever. I know you're probably tired of getting doors slammed in your face. What do you want to talk about? Come sit. So recently I had a run in with the Latter Day Saints. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's the Mormon. It's the religion of Mormon, the Book of Mormon, and their missionaries. I had like frequently, like almost weekly meetings with them, where I'd meet them at a park. And one time, I even took my oldest son Caleb, and we went back to my godmother's place after. And she said, "Did you have fun? What did you do?" And he said, "I played soccer with God." um, well, these Mormons, they didn't really know like what was going on in my life. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna straight up tell them I'm thugged out, baby. So I would tell them, "I'm doing great, brother. How are you?" And and there was one time where I had taken 3 hits of acid, and I was driving around, and they called me.
Sounds dangerous.
Yeah, don't try it at home. And I was locked in, and they called me, and I was like, you know what, Elder Keaton, I got time for you today. So I fucking pulled over. It's like 3:30 in the afternoon. I'm in a Buffalo Wild Wings parking lot, and they start reading scriptures to me, and I am crying, and I can't figure out if it's because what they're saying is so beautiful or because all I can think of is me telling my mom that I was in Buffalo Wild Wings parking lot tripping balls talking to Mormons. And so I uh I grabbed a note. I had a notebook in my car, and I grabbed it and I just wrote a bunch of fucking words, and I took a picture and texted it to while we were on the phone, and they thought I had a revelation.
Would you remember what you wrote?
Oh God, I don't know. I have to go back through and look, but it was it's like I am with him.
If you if you can find that the image that the picture that you took,
We'll
I'll
insert it right here. I'm sure I can find it
yes,
somewhere. But
yeah.
yeah, they thought I had a revelation, and I was bawling at this point, like bawling my eyes out in Beat Up's parking lot. I was in that parking lot for like 2 hours on the
Oh my
phone with
god.
them. I think at the end of it, we had set up a time for me to get baptized into the Church of the Latter Day Saints.
Oh my goodness.
Woo.
Last thing, I know this one's running a little bit long. The last thing I
Mm.
wanted to share that I just remembered now as we're talking and reminiscing. One of the things that I learned, this is from my sister. She said that little kids, if they can remember their previous lives, usually it's like the age of 2 or 3, or four is probably pushing it, where they have to have language but not already know the constructs of what's okay. So if you ask them, who were you when you were big, and if they have any recollection of their previous lives, they'll just tell you, like, matter of fact, this is who I was when I was big. So I asked Andrew, I think he was 3. I was like, Andrew, who were you when you were big? And he said, without missing a beat, baby Jesus. And that
uh,
would make me Virgin Mary.
yep,
Was kind of, yeah, it was kind of immaculate. So yeah, there's that. That's another
another
episode.
episode.
If anybody has any stories of religion that they would like to share, or any topic suggestions for upcoming podcast, please send an email to thompsontalkpodcast@gmail.com.
Or check out our YouTube channel, Thompson Talk. Go down in the comment section after you've liked the video and subscribed. Turn on the post notification bell, and let us know down in the comments your funniest moment in church, whether somebody fell asleep or you saw somebody catch the Holy Ghost or whatever. Just let us know down in the comments.
Thanks, you all.
Thanks, guys.